Ever have those moments where you get a brilliant idea, but you're just too busy to write it down and share it to the world? Enter Cleve, the AI-powered note-taking tool that's the sponsor of today's podcast. Whether you're a busy professional, a student, or someone that just loves to keep track of your ideas, Cleave is here to help. Jot down your thoughts. With just a few taps, you can turn them into personalized posts for your socials or keep them organized for later. No more lost ideas or cluttered notes. With Cleave, you are always one step ahead. Try Cleave today for free at cleve.ai and stay to the end of the show, where you get a special offer directly from the founder of Cleave itself. Cleave, your second brain for personal branding. Welcome to Journey at Zero Zeros. Today, together with us today is Ashwin. Ashwin is born in Kuching, Malaysia in year 1998. He studied mechanical engineering in University of Sheffield, but became obsessed with startups and entrepreneurship. And during his time studying in university, he started a personal branding agency, and recently he's founded Cleave, an AI tool for creator and personal brands. And generally, he's just a person really driven by curiosity. So Ashvin, did I miss out anything? Anything that you would like to add on for the audience?
Well, I like plants and music, so yeah, if anyone likes that kind of stuff, I find that really
Yeah, I think
interesting.
everyone can see the amazing plants in your background, and yeah, we even started a conversation on that. It's really, really interesting. Yeah, but let's dive straight in because very interesting. You studied mechanical engineering, and yeah, just found out that you studied in UK as well. uh, and but what made you suddenly switch from engineering and then like what made you interested in entrepreneurship?
So I think for the longest time I've been a very hardcore engineering guy. So like no one would associate me with like building a business or entrepreneurship at all. I was very nerdy. I really enjoyed the stuff. I really enjoyed studying engineering. But I guess towards the second half of my degree, I started learning about startups and tech and how people are building cool stuff in this space. And I felt kind of curious, like, oh damn, how do they do that? And then the more I dug into it, the more I realized that it's not you don't just have an idea that comes out of nothing and then you just like it becomes a $1 billion company suddenly. There's a lot of nuance and building and systems and things that you need to learn to build a successful tech company. And that got me really curious. Like I was really like I didn't understand how it worked, and that just really got me like excited about it, the unknown, right? And I guess at the point at which when I was graduating, I had to make a decision, like, do I want to join an MNC for my first 10 years of my career, and then maybe later do this kind of startup entrepreneur thing, right? But then I thought about it and I was like, hey, the best time to do something crazy is when you don't have kids to feed, you don't have a house loan to pay off. You can do pretty wild stuff and just like learn and get away with it. So that's I guess that's where I decided that hey, let's do the startup thing, and let's try investing the first 5 years of my career to figuring out business and startups. And if all else fails, then hey, I could still go back to engineering. But that was the goal. So 5 years of investing into it and then see how it goes.
I see, amazing. I really like your yeah, you pretty much have a clear vision on how you do it, and then there is a solid plan B. I mean, like, yeah, this the I believe your mechanical certificate is always there, part of I believe part of IEM and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, yeah, not a problem and all that. Yeah, but what tell us about what made you like just started a agency,
Oh
or like
yeah.
was it during your uni, or after you came out of uni? So sorry, I think I got that part a bit
Yeah,
confused.
yeah. I mean, it started like right. You rightly said it started during
Hmm.
uni. So I
Hmm.
was in second year, summer holidays, didn't know what to do, wanted to learn how to make money. So I just started telling people that okay, guys, I'm a freelancer now. So I enjoyed video editing, and I enjoyed content creation and all this kind of stuff. So like, yeah, I was like, let's try to get some gigs doing video editing, and like, and then as I was kind of sharing, doing design, copywriting, video editing, all this kind of stuff, My girlfriend was also into like design and copywriting, so we're like, hey, let's partner up and like start a small agency, so sort of. So at least we can offer a whole bunch of services. So this is just the two of us as broke students trying to make money. So we started posting around Facebook, LinkedIn. We got our first few clients, and then they became more and more. And yeah, then we just like I guess that kind of organically grew. It wasn't something super intentional that but then I guess over time the intention became clear. Yeah.
I see, I see. Interesting, interesting. Like it's always started with money, right? I spoke to so many people. I mean, I spoke to someone. I think a few episodes ago, I was speaking to George, and then he was interested in startup. Why? Money. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It always started with the money. I think the money part is very, very attractive. Yeah, but after running this agency, you joined Antler as a entrepreneurship in residence. I'm not sure do they call the same thing, like something
Yeah.
similar. Yeah. Um, what made you choose that?
So, to be honest, the agency was a side hustle for quite a
Mm-hmm.
while. Like, I was actually working in another company.
Mm-hmm.
It was an early stage tech startup. That was my first job after uni, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
was their marketer. So like, it was a four-person team, and I was the marketing guy. So basically, super duper early stage startup. I was with them for a year. Eventually, the company did end up dying down, and then that's when I decided, okay, so I was kind of retrenched at 23. And so I was like, okay, time to go full time into my side hustle, which was the agency, right? So I kind of always wanted to do tech. Like I wanted to figure out tech, and get into this space. And even while I was building the agency, on the side, I would have time allocated each week or like in certain months where we would actually be building prototypes and like testing different ideas or like, yeah, coming up with different concepts. But it could never materialize because even though we had like we tried running these experiments, we had no idea how to actually get a product into market.
Mm-hmm.
So we interviewed a bunch of people. They said they had these problems, and then we tried to design prototypes, and then we didn't know what to do next. So we hired an intern who was a software a software engineering intern. Tried doing something, it didn't really work out. We couldn't really build much during his internship, and then he finished his internship. So I guess things weren't clear, right? And I didn't really know how to do this startup thing. So I was introduced to Antler by a friend, and when I like, and then basically that friend had done the Antler residency, and he was like, you know, it gives you all the foundations you need to actually build a tech company, and it's something that he recommended that all people who are interested in starting tech companies go through. Um, yeah, and then I guess I did it, and but the pull was really always to figure out how to get into product and how to get into tech, and build a business in that space. Yeah.
I see, I see. Interesting. That's cool. Yeah, I'm quite amazed by the part where, you guys hired an intern, try to work on different projects and all that kind of stuff. I believe like throughout maybe from university, perhaps even from the time where you decided that, yeah, I should spend the next 5 years, just working on this startup thing and see how it turns out. I believe there are many mental shifts that went through. Like I believe like one thing that's very clear to me is like, yeah, we actually don't need to be like at one point you realize that we don't have to be a super huge company to like hire interns and all that. So can you explain to us like how like what are the major mental shift moments that you have and how did they occur to you?
I think the biggest one early on was realizing that, okay, in business, you're not in control as you are with academics. Like when you're
Oh.
studying, right, you can, you study hard, you're gonna get the first class or you're gonna get the A star or whatever the best grade is, right? If you masters chapter 1 to chapter 12, you'll get it. But I think the first biggest mental shift is like everything's gonna be a probability game now on, right? You have no clue if you're going to get the next big client or if you're going to get the next great employee or if you're going to convince that next person to join you on something or the next big podcast guest on your podcast. It's always a probability game. Um, and getting used to failing often, because the game with probability is you fail a whole bunch of times, you win a couple times, right? Getting used to that was the biggest one. Um, I guess I wasn't used to failing so often. But,
Hmm. I think most
yeah,
people aren't. Recently, I
yeah.
started learning this as well.
Yeah, because yeah, at the start you're bound to, because you have no idea what you're doing and you're trying to figure it out. And there's no degree for figuring out how to actually run a startup and like how to build whatever product you're trying to build. So everyone's learning and everyone's kind of failing. It's just a matter of like going through the reps and then getting slowly better at it. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Interesting. Um, you talked about like it's about failing and all this kind of stuff. Like now, I believe it's a lot better on that. But definitely, I believe when you're going through that, or even right now when you're running your startup, there might be moments where it's stressful and all that. Is there actually?
Yeah, all the time. I think the funny thing is, right? I've met some people who are like really, really seasoned entrepreneurs. Like they've
Okay.
made hundreds of millions at this point, kind of thing. And even they share that it doesn't get easier. Like
Oh
it's
wow,
just as
wow.
hard. I mean, your tolerance for failure builds up,
Hmm.
but you'll still constantly like. There's this one guy who basically after exiting his company and like it was quite a big successful exit. He would go on to become like an investor and like he would have to raise capital from some of the richest people in the world. And all the time he would be faced with no, 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 and then once random yes. And then, yeah, it's just different scales of the exact same problems.
Hmm.
So every time I'm like trying to pitch for someone to use my, you know, uh, $20 solution, I try to remind myself that, okay, right now it's $20, but one day it's going to be $20,000, one day it's going to be $2 million, and it's going to be the same thing. So you got to learn how to do it now. Like you got to learn how to get better at yeah, failing in a sense, or like facing rejection a lot of the times. Yeah.
I see, I see. How do you deal with like? Do you have a way to deal with all this stress?
I like to play the piano, and I'm a very emotional
Hmm.
pianist. So,
Oh,
like,
can you tell us more about that? Like, what do you mean by emotional pianist?
yeah. So I like improvising, and when I'm feeling stressed or down or anything, like just as an outlet for my emotions. Actually, there's two things. One is piano. So I've actually got one right here. So yeah, I would just play whatever I feel like. So it'll be a random chord progression, random melody, and then like just to express how I'm feeling, to kind of hear myself, hear my own feelings in a musical sense. And then the other thing that I do is journaling. I find it honestly, I only started this year,
Hmm.
and it's been probably like the biggest hack for a young adult, I think. Like, yeah, journaling is so life changing. Like, I don't have a proper structure to it. Like, I don't do it consistently either. It's just that usually whenever I'm feeling particularly stressed, that's when I would start writing, and I would just write whatever comes to mind, and it makes no sense to a reader, but it's just letting the thoughts flow out, and I think that makes such a big difference. And it's kind of associated with like a more feminine thing. I think girls are great at like, it's normal to hear of like bullet journaling and designing and like, drawing and everything.
Yeah, like
I
how
feel
they
like,
design a proper, beautiful journal
yeah,
template to do
journal and
that. Yeah.
everything. Honestly, I feel like they've got it figured out. Like, more guys seriously need to. I mean, everyone honestly like need to try it, right? Just seeing your thoughts on paper and being able to like talk to yourself in a way, because you're looking at what you're writing and you're thinking about it. It's as if you're having a conversation with your own mind. Um, it solves a lot of problems and it puts a lot of things into perspective in a way that I think no other tool or method has done for me before. Yeah. So like incredible.
Yeah, I totally agree that like I actually started journaling a long time ago. Like very, very I think like during COVID, yeah, I started during COVID, but then it was like
Oh.
on and off, stopped a few times, and then I think because earlier this year many things happened to me and I started focusing more on it and then slowly improving it. And now it's like my a daily thing, which I do in the morning, and
Oh,
it
awesome.
really helped me a lot. Like it really clears up your mind before you start the day, so you can really like plan out your day really well and all that.
Yeah. Actually, to add to that,
Mm,
one thing that I also do is like whenever I'm feeling particularly anxious as well,
mm,
I would do a mind map of like what I'm anxious about, and then I would branch it out to like client interactions, health, I don't know, like what are the like different categories of my anxiety, and then each of them like client interactions. Okay, which particular clients am I particularly anxious about, or which projects are kind of overdue but I haven't done yet, or like okay, the house is messy and like I haven't like cleaned up things, and so then I guess breaking it up makes it feel
mm.
less tangled in your brain. Like that personally, that's how I get through, especially the high anxiety periods. Yeah.
See, that's really interesting. Like, yeah, that's
Do you
something
do
that
something
I should
similar?
really jot down. And I mean, like all of these things are actually around us. We definitely have done mind maps and all that before. Just that like sometimes without people saying it, like it doesn't link it up to me that oh yeah, you can do this to express yourself and all that. Like because like you previously before I started journaling consistently, I do journal when I'm very anxious and stressed as well. That's the
Mm.
thing that's the only thing I do. But now that I said it, yeah, actually I think a mind map is a lot more helpful. It really dives deep and then it gives a lot of clarity to what you think and all that. Maybe something that I should really do. Fun fact, because like recently I convinced myself to get a tablet. So
Okay.
before this like in university I had a tablet as well, an iPad, and I gave that to my sister. That's why I didn't have a tablet like since last year until this year. And then I was like I really need one because I have this podcast now. Sometimes with my guests I'll just hold a tablet and then just like look through the notes and all that. And then I've been thinking with the tablet I bought a pen together with it as well. It's like the standard, the standard
Oh
package.
yeah, yeah.
And I've been thinking like how do I, after using it for quite some time, because this time I have a keyboard together with a pen and a tablet. I've been using the keyboard a lot and then I haven't been using the pen. It's just been charging there. So it started making me wonder like, oh, how do I use my pen? At the point that I have to actually went and ask my friends that happen to have an iPad with an Apple Pencil, and I was when do you actually use the pen? Because like, unlike in university and all that, definitely we use pens for writing notes and all
Oh
that
yeah.
during like seminars and all that. And now like it happens a lot less like for us. So it's like how do you use it? Yeah, and for her, she used it for something called a wheel of life. I'm not sure if you have heard of that before. Yeah,
Oh no.
basically it's like looking at different aspects of your life and how you rate them. It's actually quite a useful exercise as well. I think she does it once a month. Like I think it's split into 9 or 10 aspects in your life, like your friendship, your family, and all that. You rate how well it is, and then from that you see if it's doing quite bad, you can improve it. And she
Mm.
use her pencil for that. And then now that you share the mind map thing, I was like another use case for my like tablet and the pen itself.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
have another business friend as well who I actually learned this
Hmm?
from, and he does everything on mind maps. Like,
Oh,
and
really?
he's got a, so he's also around our age as well, and he's got like a
Mm.
pretty sizable music business now, music production business, and yeah, his like every Sunday it's just okay, what are the key strategies that I could do next, or what could I improve? It's all mind mapping, and he uses his Apple. I honestly haven't gotten an iPad yet. I haven't like found the use case yet. I do a lot of
Mm.
stuff on Figma, so I would literally
Oh.
mind map on Figma instead. But I think at some point, like, I think as more and more people find clever ways to use iPads, like, it's gotten really tempting. I think that's probably next on my buy list, like my gadget buy list. Huh.
Mm. I get what you mean. Like I totally get what you mean. But I think for you definitely it would be valuable. Yeah. I like generally if I were to write more things, because even till today I really enjoy like writing more than typing. So most
Oh,
of
right.
my things I use Notion a lot. I think you use that a lot as well. Is it Notion or Airtable? I forgot which one was it. Yeah.
Yeah, I use
Yeah.
Notion a lot.
So
Yeah.
oh. So I do a lot of things on Notion. I do my daily reviews, my weekly reviews, monthly reviews, my notes. Like
Oh, nice.
most of this podcast is like based on Notion as well. But for my daily journals, I still keep it to a traditional notebook because I really enjoy the process of writing. It feels different. I don't know. Yeah, and I
Same.
like that it's zero distraction and all that. So I feel like yeah, a tablet would be really, really helpful for you. I think that generally just the writing part, the act of using a pencil, it it's there's a different way of expressing thoughts or something. Yeah, that it just works. Yeah.
It is. Actually, yeah, in like whenever I'm journaling, I'm always journaling on my actual physical notebook and pen. And I actually in the most stressful times, I would just like literally take an LRT, go to the center of town, walk
Hmm.
around for a few hours, just like let my mind go blank. Like, let
Hmm.
my mind relax, pay attention to the surroundings, and then take out my journal in the middle of a park and just start writing. And literally, it feels very aesthetic, but like that's that's my go-to for the particularly tough situations. Yeah, and I guess that happens like every few months now.
Wow, interesting. Wow, it does sound that like the startup life is not the easiest. Yeah, because like I believe many people when they hear of startup and all that, they'll think of glamorous life. Like I don't know, maybe like millionaires. You got a lot of cash. You will take like flights everywhere. You looks very glamorous and all that. It's like a amazing life that everyone wants. Can you share more about like the true sides of day to day as a
Oh yeah, I
founder?
mean, I just got back on my private jet from like Indonesia. I was just saying hi to some clients there. No, so, yeah, it's way harder than um like I think no, I think there's one thing that's right about all those statements where there is a lot of adventure. Um, but it's probably not the kind of adventure that most people would expect. Um, I think going in, I had some idea that okay, the probability of success is actually really low. And if you are someone who's doing it for the money and for the financial gains, um, only, there are way better ways to make money. Like it's probably going to be way faster to achieve financial independence and stuff like that with a much higher probability if you go the corporate route or if you go other routes, right? Like
Investment banking, those kind
investment
of routes.
banking. Yeah, exactly. Um, or even like product management and tech and all these kinds of things in established companies, right? I think if you want to do startups, it's really about like, you know, going through the adventure of like, and also seeing what you're made of in a way. Like, I
Hmm.
feel like it's a lot of um, self-realization journey, like learning what you're weak at, what you're good at, slowly figuring yourself out actually in the process. But yeah, it can be really challenging. I think there's a very small percentage of startups that succeed, and I think if your goal is optimizing for, yeah, find money, this is probably not the best place to do it. But if your goal is optimizing for adventure and to for life experience and ticking something off your bucket list and picking up a whole bunch of skills as well, meeting a whole bunch of cool people, I think that's what startups allow you to do, like having that freedom to explore, experiment, figure things out, and be the only barrier to your own progress, I guess. Um, yeah.
I see. Okay, yeah, that's amazing. That sounds great. Yeah, but yeah, just now you talk about yeah, meeting people and all that kind of stuff. I believe that's one of the core thing about being an entrepreneur, networking and all that. But before you started your company, because you're someone that's very curious and all that. Yeah, you do many things. Has it been hard for you to find your own kind of people?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think nowadays with social media it's a bit easier. I've met a lot of like really cool people online because people basically I think the cool thing with social media is everyone's kind of like sharing who they are and you can kind of see people's thought process through their writing online and stuff. So yeah, you can find people with similar brainwaves relatively easily now. But I think generally it's a lot harder. I think there's not that many people at our age who take the startup path as well. So, I mean, you would find other entrepreneurs, and I've got like loads of friends who are in their 30s kind of thing, but like in the 20s, in KL in particular, there's like a handful that I know of. And I hope to see more, honestly. Like, but yeah, like I think it's also definitely a privilege to be able to kind of do the startup thing where, like, for me personally, I don't have like huge student loans to pay off, like family to feed, house loan to pay off and stuff as well. So like, I do have the privilege of being able to do things. Um, yeah, but yeah, I think it does get quite lonely. So always, especially like because you don't have all your colleagues and coworkers in a big office to like have lunch with and like to meet up with.
Not yet.
Um, Not yet. But the thing is, not ever, to be honest, because even the people who
Mhm.
have built like sizable companies, it's really lonely on the top. Because yeah, the interactions that you can have with your employees are always going to be different than with peers. So yeah, I guess that's going to be a like entrepreneurship is a pretty lonely journey, to be honest, and like finding that support network and support circle, I
Mhm.
think is really important.
Yeah, like I totally get you because previously I've started a company before, and then like definitely I'm more on like personal development. I am very into personal finance,
Hmm.
investing and all that, and I've been finding really hard to meet like it's easy, like of course we can make friends with everyone, but when we want to have like deep conversations about something that we're interested in, it does find it a bit hard, like until
Oh yeah.
like really. Yeah, just now I talked about very early on. I talked about like failing and all that. Recently, I learned that as well because, I think like over the past 3 months, like my life has really changed a lot. Like upon realizing that, it's totally fine to just ask people for like anything. I've been like
Oh my gosh,
cold emailing,
yeah.
like messaging people on LinkedIn and all that, just because I want to enter the VC field, and most recently because I want to move down to London. Definitely, I want to learn more about renting in London and all that. It was very expensive. There might be scams and all that kind of stuff, and it's totally
Mm.
fine to just ask people, and then just ask them to connect you with more people where you can just have a chat and all that. So yeah, that's but yeah, even like this, I we do meet more people, but it is it is still hard. It is still hard. Like finding our own people. But just now you talked about you do more online. You meet more people online and all that. Um, what is your way? Mainly for myself as well. I think something that I would like to learn more as well.
Huh. I'm still trying to figure this out. I think, and I still struggle with it as someone who's like not as usually outgoing, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah, sliding into people's DMs, like saying, "Hey, that was a nice post." Like, I really resonated with what you're saying there, or like,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, sharing a personal experience around something that they shared, and just connecting over things. Like, I think sometimes it's like especially when people are sharing their thoughts online, it's really easy to
Mhm.
connect with someone's thoughts, and like be able to kind of add to the conversation. And then, yeah, after chatting for a while, then like, hey, let's meet up for coffee. I think this is a cool conversation. I actually was very intentional with this. I think about 2 years back. I
Mhm.
started doing this thing where I told myself that okay. Oh, by the way, I'm from Sarawak, right? And I moved to KL to build all this business
Oh.
stuff, and I didn't know anyone in KL. So it was particularly hard because I never studied in KL, so I didn't have any friends, and most of my friends from uni were still in the UK. So I had to meet people in order to build a business, right? So yeah, it was a lot of like I told myself that once a week I'm going to find someone to talk to, like someone new to talk to. And I just made it a point that okay, this week who am I going to reach out to? And I would like try to go through LinkedIn, find someone who I could like make friends with and meet up with. And I guess a lot of like it was that initial internal push to get me to, reach out to somebody. But people are surprisingly nice and like so cool and like yeah, and like it's crazy. Like some people are like super senior and super experienced, but they're also just so nice and like so willing to like, oh, like come, let's have a chat. Yeah.
Amazing. Oh my God. That is really cool. Like definitely very interesting experience because Yeah, very funny. Recently, I have something similar as well. Ever since I broke up earlier this year, on my weekly plan, I have this fixed task. I call them fixed task, something that I have
Oh,
to
okay.
do every week, and I put it that I have to talk to three new girls every week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, just talk yeah, just to meet more people
Yes.
and all that, meet more girls, so you can know more people and then basically see if like there are any girls that might be same of interest and all that, something that you can build a friendship and then probably in the future getting in a relationship or something like that. But wow, like I'm generally really impressed with what you did because the recently I read the book called Million Dollar Weekend. I'm not sure if you have read it. I feel like
Oh, no,
you
I
might have read
haven't.
it as well. Oh,
Uh,
but uh I think you
no, I
might have
never.
knew a lot of things within it. It's a book by Noah Kagan sharing how you can
Oh.
basically start a company within 48 hours. It's all about the book is more about like try to do as many experiments as possible and then like
Mm.
end up with one that might actually work. Then that will be your potential $1 million idea to start a company like that. And from that, I learned that I forgot who was it. There's this guy right now. He's a very well-established VC partner in San Francisco Bay Area. But when he first moved there, he did something similar to you. I think he said he wanted to. It's quite crazy. Maybe I exaggerated it a bit, but it's somewhere the lines like he wants to meet five people, 3 or 5 people, new people a day
Oh.
for the first 6 months
Oh.
in the Bay Area, and he pretty much
That's
did
cool.
the same thing as you. And yeah, just like connecting with people and then asking for coffee and all that. But he did another level where after talking to each people, he will send up a follow-up email sharing what he find most useful for on the day
Mm.
itself, like through the conversation, and then asking the person to connect him with someone that the person might find interesting, that this guy that he's able to talk to. And that's how he built his connection and all that. It's like this exact part that realized, yeah, after talking to people I can utilize like, okay, utilize is probably not the best word to use. It feels like I'm too intentional, but then basically like know more people through this connection that I just made. And I think once I go down to London, I should probably do something
Yeah.
that you did. Yeah, just to meet more people and drink more coffee and yeah, see more people. But that's
Six
really
months.
amazing.
6 months,
Yeah.
5 people a day. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like
I'm not sure if it's
I'm
that.
on
I
your
feel
name
like
now.
it's a bit crazy. I might need to flip through a book again. Is it? I know it's like, it's really crazy that he did like a day. Like it's down to a day, but I forgot what's the number a day. That's the exact thing.
Hmm.
But now that's why he made him so established, and it totally connects with me because I was like, yeah, I want to enter the VC industry as well. Yeah, maybe that's something I do
Hmm.
have to do. Yeah. So really cool. That really inspired me, and yeah, great to know that you did that, and definitely I
Yeah, at a
should
much
try that
smaller
as well.
scale, but yeah, I feel
Mm,
like restarting that because especially
mm,
now that I'm also so the thing about the whole entrepreneurship journey is like I'm
mm.
sure you understand like constantly learning new jobs every other week. So like my current main job is like sales and like figuring out how to do B2B stuff. So like yeah, like I think really doubling down on the networking thing and setting it a point to like what's my daily new person like target. That'll be interesting. Yeah.
Probably set it on your weekly plan, like talk to how many people per person, just that not girls. Yeah, for me
Yeah.
it's like girls. I should really add something like other than just girls. Like okay, meet how many professionals a week. Yeah.
Like
I remember
VCs and girls.
yes, VC and girls, or VC slash girls, if they happen to be girls. I remember I was sharing because like I have this, I think once a month call with my friend where we would just, it kind of became like it was just catch up, but sometimes we do like monthly review and all that. I remember the first time I had this call and then I shared my template and then she saw that. I was like, oh my god, that is so funny. I was like, oh yeah, it was like, I initially I thought of maybe I should delete it first before I share it to her, just like, just to show that it's not that weird. But I realized like, actually, no. Like, I still remember this one point that my manager during my internship told me. Sometimes many things we might feel embarrassed about, like when we lost a job and all this, we might feel embarrassed about it, and then we don't want to tell people about it. But in fact, like it's during these times that we actually need more help. So
Oh yeah.
we should actually share with others. Like it sounds weird that I'm intentionally talking to girls, like hoping in eventually I'll end up in a relationship. But actually, it's not something wrong. I'm not like talking to girls and then expecting them to be my girlfriend and all that. I'm just like getting to
Mm-hmm.
know people. So yeah, if I share it with someone and then they can somehow connect me with someone interesting to talk to and all that, yeah, why not? Nothing wrong in that. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's something I realized. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
I think the
But
the the statement that you made just now about how um yeah, it's when we're in the tough times that we should be actually reaching out to people and talking to people.
yes.
Like that makes sense, but why is it so hard? Like, yeah.
You
Yeah.
that's a really good point. Yeah, I really love like the content that you made, like sharing your entrepreneurship journey as well. Because recently when I first started this podcast, my first episode was, yeah, really heavy. I guess the heavy title kind of helped it a lot. Like drew in a lot of people to watch it. It was talking about my how my mom passed away earlier this year,
Mm.
and then I break up, and then I lost my job in Meta and all that. So it's a very heavy thing. But it's actually that I'm very surprised that yeah many people just came and yeah gave me their support. There are people who even came to me that just connected me to other people like in the VC industry and all that. And
Mm.
yeah, so like I realized I think I watch a lot of Ali Abdal video. Is it you
Yeah.
that you watch a lot as well? I think I went through
Yeah,
your
I do.
website and I saw something
Yeah.
similar. There's a lot of content on your website, so I'm not sure if I saw it there. Yeah, Ali Abdal, he said that. Wait, what was it again? Yeah, actually, generally, people are nice. Yeah, people are nice. Like, cause like I think that time he's talking more about when you're starting your content creation journey and all that. People are afraid of putting themselves out there and all that. But generally, people that don't care about you, they just won't care about you, and then unlikely they will
Oh yeah.
just go and watch and then hate you. Yeah, yeah. So usually when people would come and comment to you, it's actually good things. Yeah, it's actually good things. It's nice and all that. So it's okay to just put ourselves out there. Yeah, definitely something that I
Mm.
try to do a lot more often as well. I remember the day where my first day of unemployment 2 weeks ago, I made this video telling people that yeah today I'm like officially unemployed. But it's so funny, like I just think that it's fun to do that, since I had that podcast and everything. So I'm gonna do this short video up. But it just so happened that I legit just woke up, my hair is like really messy and all that, so it really looks like I'm in a very down state and all that. But actually it wasn't intentional at all. I just think that yeah I should do it, and then if I want to do it, I should do it now before I question
Right.
myself more. Yeah, and decide not to do it. And yeah, it turned out to make me look very sad and all that. And people came and comfort me. I was like, oh yeah, yeah, I'm fine. Like, but thanks a lot for that, all the support and all that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, I think the community and I think we tend to forget that we are surrounded by 9 billion people in the world, and there are so many people who do care about us, and like
yes.
we don't really go through this journey alone. It's so easy to forget though, because like in your day-to-day life, like especially in my day-to-day life, for example, I don't really see anybody most of the time. Like it's just yeah. So but yeah, like it's easy to forget, but there are a lot of people out there. And
Mhm.
one thing that I try to do once in a while, like I have this page in my journal, which is a constant. It's all the
Mhm.
people who I care about, and just seeing all their names on one page, like loads of names. And yeah, it's just it's a good reminder that there are lots of great people out there, and we got to remember that.
Amazing, amazing. I love that though. I never thought of doing that. Yeah, probably I'll do it on Notion, but it's amazing. I think, yeah, cause yeah, like my journal every day. I primarily do a gratitude journaling. So I
Mm.
have like five points where I just like the things I'm grateful about yesterday. So that really helped me a lot. Like after doing that, just like yeah, life is beautiful. Yeah, and it's when after I started doing that, yeah, I really started noticing more things that I should be grateful about. Like, cause I don't know. I think our mind is just we have a certain capacity, and then definitely we can't pay attention to too many things. So usually
Mm.
we're more focused on the problems that came up and all that. So when I started noticing like, oh, there's so many things to be grateful about, and in fact, I feel like right now the problem is that five is not enough anymore. But I still have to keep it to five just to keep it efficient and all that. That's enough. Like after doing that five, you're thinking like, oh yeah, yesterday I had a great chat with my dad that I'm really grateful about and all that. I was like, yeah, why did I forget about that and all that? So, yeah, actually,
Oh.
there's a lot of beauty in this world, but I don't know. I guess we just have to slowly train ourselves to really notice that a lot more.
I should really try that actually. Like I've heard a lot
Yeah.
of people talk about gratitude journaling, but the way
Mm.
you've put it, it makes a lot more sense now.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a five bullet point, and then thank. I like to, I like to attach it with someone else because it like I believe the same thing happens to like why you have that list of people where you appreciate like where you really care about because like when you attach to people, like because it's their sometimes it's their action that made you a lot grateful. I don't know, it just you feel extra grateful. I don't know
Yeah.
how to position. Yeah, so you made it a lot more thankful. So yeah, you
Hmm.
should try it. And I think it's amazing. It's been amazing. That really helped me a lot. Yeah. But yeah, like um I wonder what is your life motto? Do you have a life motto that you follow or something like that?
I think like what's the next adventure going to be? So the thing about adventures is
Mm.
regardless of outcome, the adventure is going to be fun. Right. I mean, it'll feel painful in the moment, but it's gonna be fun, like in hindsight.
Mm.
And I think I would want to live my life in a series of adventures that I can look
Mm.
back at, I could share with people, and be like, "Yeah, that was fun," you know,
Mm.
in hindsight. And yeah, just trying things that are out of the ordinary, that are weird, that are funny, and living a life that's filled with all that kind of stuff.
I love that. Like when you said that, I like what you said connected me to like the same things that have said by multiple people. Yeah, because when you said you want your life to be a series of adventures and all that, I'm not sure if you know Nelson Ng. Nelson Ng, he's actually
Oh,
a
yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes, yeah. Because I interviewed him on my previous podcast, which I did with my ex. Yeah, I'm probably gonna invite him again on this podcast as well. And then I remember that he said, yeah, his I think one of his life goals is to have like a collection of experiences, which
Yeah.
I totally agree and all that. And then when you talk about how you want to try out new things like wild adventures and all that, you it connected me to Jeff Bezos because I know this thing of him where every time when he goes to a restaurant, he will order the weirdest thing on the menu, like the weirdest thing just to try new things, and that's something I've been following because I think it makes sense, like you don't know when you're gonna as simple as you don't know when you're gonna go back to that restaurant. Like unless I really feel like eating one particular dish, like maybe one day I just like I really want to eat wings, so then I'll order that. But other times I will probably, yeah, they have like octopus and like grilled octopus legs, like yeah, let's go for that. Yeah, as long as I'm rich enough. Yeah, it's not too expensive. If it's like 500 ringgit king crab, probably not for me. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the appetite for adventure is something that we all have as kids, but we also kind of like lose as external pressure kind of tells us not to do things.
Yes.
Don't like, stay closer, stay further away from the ledge or like stay on the inner side of the sidewalk. But I think that appetite for adventure is something that for me personally, I feel like you can grow it. Like you can get more comfortable with doing crazy things. And you start a bit crazy, Like you start with like the little things, like I don't know, making a different meal today, like a food that you've never cooked before, and then you go a bit bigger, and like yeah, and then like I think but at the end of the day, everyone's got their own way to live life. I think that's just me as well. But yeah, I find that bigger and bigger adventures just makes it fun, makes it interesting.
Amazing. I love that. Just wondering, like, do you, how do you remind yourself to look back and on this, like, because they always talk about
Hmm.
it's not like it's not about the goal, it's always about the journey itself. And I had this amazing realization that reinforced this idea, but then I'm still learning how to do it because most of the time when you hike a mountain, obviously like the goal is the peak, but most of the time the view is already like it's amazing on the journey itself. Sometimes on the peak it's actually quite underwhelming. Like it's
Oh yeah.
better during the journey. Yeah, so like this made me realize, yeah, I should really focus more on the journey itself. But I'm still working on it. Just wondering how do you do it?
I think I haven't fully figured it out yet. Um, hmm. I think surrounding for me it's a lot about people as well. And like the people that you're on the journey with can very significantly influence how you perceive the journey. And I feel quite fortunate in terms of like the co-founders that I have as well, who I like interact on a daily basis. Like we make it a point to celebrate. Like we have this Discord channel in our
Oh my
startup called
god.
Tiny Wins. And every time we've got like a little tiny win, we'll just like mention it there. Everyone will contribute to the Tiny Wins channel. Sometimes it might be just one, small customer feedback, which was like, "Hey, I like that UI," and then we just like have a little
Mm.
celebration of like, oh, or the first time, like recently, we just had someone who became a customer via our LinkedIn page. It's like, oh my gosh, our LinkedIn page managed to get someone to become a customer, like a post on our LinkedIn page. So like celebrating those little things, and then like for the co-founding team as well, we'd also just like yeah meet up, like remind ourselves that oh shit, we actually have customers now. People are actually paying us money. Like the little things, right? It may not be $1 million or
Mm.
$1 billion, but yeah, just remembering to celebrate the small wins. And then the other thing I think more recently is I've been looking back at my old journal entries and
Oh,
kind of realizing like journaling is one of those things where you rarely read your old stuff. But once
but
in
I
a while
think
you
when you
feel
read it, it's amazing.
yeah, it's really amazing. And you realize all the challenges that you were facing back then, all the doubts that you were facing about yourself. Some of them still exist today. But some of them, yeah, you see how far you've come. And
Yeah.
it's so easy to forget. Yeah.
Amazing. You remind like I really love the Discord channel thing. I should probably do it with my friends as well, on WhatsApp. Because I think on personal life that will really help a lot. Like it's yeah, sometimes we just need all these tiny prompts to trigger ourselves and to remind that, yeah, those are really worth celebrating. Like these small reminders and all that. I think I should really do it. But I totally agree with you. Like I think once in a while where you sit down and then you look back, realizing how far I've come. Like I think like definitely now I'm not in a best. Okay, I think I shouldn't refer. Okay, I'm not in the yeah, I'm not in the best situation. I'm unemployed and all that, but I am actually really I'm quite happy now because I like the reason why I'm able to choose basically my plan right now is that I have 1 full year dedicated to living in London, and I
Hmm.
want to focus at least for the next 6 months. I want to focus on just finding VC jobs, entering VC, whether it's like going into internships and all that, even doing free internships and all that, because I want to step foot into that. And it is definitely a very tough journey, very scary. London is expensive, London is scary as well, pickpockets, whatever. Yeah. But um but looking at how I'm able to do this, it's like it just realized how fortunate I am, like how I've built the savings that's good enough for me to sustain throughout this period. And yeah, right now I'm such a person with drive. I'm able to I had this amazing idea to do this podcast, like right now chatting with you and all that. So like there's many things that just make me realize, yeah, it is from typical terms, it is a terrible time. Unemployed, and then have to move to a big city, which becomes more expensive and all that. But when you view it from a different perspective, like it's absolutely amazing. Like it's because of what I've done. And like all these small tiny things that I've done previously that looks insignificant and all that, some of them might be fails even. Yeah, that contributed to this day itself, which yeah. But yeah, I should really read back my journal entries again. I actually, because I'm packing as well. I think I previously I have like 5 books or something. Right now my struggle is just to find like the thinnest paper, like the notebook with the thinnest paper that I'm able to fit as much pages as in it as possible, so that it'll be easier for me to move next time. Because like also like yeah, this move that made me realize I read a lot, and then I previously used physical books until recently. I read Building a Second Brain. Have you heard of that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
feel
go for
like
it, Cleve.
definitely like us like a similar like our group of people, they usually heard about it. It talked about like the benefits of ebook. They have this noting function and all that. I was like, yeah, it totally just makes sense for me to read ebooks. Like it's a lot more minimalistic. I don't have to think about moving, and yeah, I can take notes and all that all saved in one place. Yeah, but yeah, definitely going back, I
But I
should
think
read back
on
my journal
your
and then yeah.
like on your point earlier about, you know, being in the downtimes or the
Mm,
unemployed states or the challenges in life, right? My mom has a philosophy which I really
interesting.
like about this, where she says, yeah, like whatever the external circumstances are you doing your best? That's really the only thing that matters.
I see.
Um, like, yeah, I think that's kind of been whether it's tough exams, which you didn't have enough time to prepare for, whether it's, trying to figure out how to get your first few clients in a new company. It's like, what can you do to do your best? And as long as you are trying your best, even whether it's success or fail or whatever whether it changes the external circumstances, you know it in your heart that you're doing your best, and that's the best you can do. And like, you should be proud of yourself for, for in your case, like starting the podcast, running things, keep like pushing forward, moving to London, uh, searching for the VCs. As long as you're trying, and like you're trying what you're able to do with the resources that you have, um, that's great. Like, you're doing fantastic.
That's amazing. I really like that philosophy. Like, yeah, because I think most of us definitely sometimes the reason why we would think that, oh, this is a down period, this is not good, is because we tend to compare. But
Oh
that
yeah.
perspective is about like how, like, compared to yourself right now, and what's the best that you can do, which is really good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love
Hmm.
that. Yeah, yeah. Really amazing. Yeah. But yes, let's go to the next question. I'm genuinely interested by this, and this is the question that I'll ask every single guest on this podcast, because I think definitely I think for this particular episode, you have shared more like how do I say that, like down moments, like the tougher part of the journey than usual. But still, I want to know, what is your recent biggest struggles?
Okay, so for me, it's always been a sense of self-confidence.
Okay.
Like, I think externally, it seems like I've got a lot of things. I feel like people would assume that I've got a lot of things together. But I think internally, it's always that kind of struggle. And I think the nature of startups as well is you're always hitting above your belt. Like you're always doing things that are uncomfortable and like you feel like you're not good at. And you will always naturally not be good at it until you do it, and then you get better at it. But somehow that like that sense of self-esteem, self-confidence, is really difficult to build up, and self-awareness of what you are actually capable at, what you're actually good at.
Mm.
One of the partners, as one of the coaches that we have at Antler as well, would tell me and my co-founders, right? You guys are young, but you're not inexperienced. And yeah, and as much as like I think I always also tend to feel like, okay, I'm a 26-year-old, 25-year-old, 26 in a week. Um, yeah,
25, still 25,
I'm 25.
every day counts.
Yeah, so like I'm a 25-year-old. What chance do I have in KL? What chance do I have against these, super experienced people in Silicon Valley who are
Mm.
like, ex product managers at some huge companies working on a similar kind of space that I'm working at, right? And this that sense of self-doubt, like especially going into sales, like talking to customers, convincing people, it always kind of creeps back in. And it's a thing that I have to constantly remind myself actively that, hey, you got this. Just do your best. You can figure things out. Um, it's not easy, and I think it's a continuous struggle. But like, I don't know. Hopefully, it gets better over time. I don't know if you have any tips for that, like building up that sense of self.
Yeah, like when you first talk about the point where you talk about, it looks like you like everything is when people see you, it looks like, you have everything figured out, it looks good and all that. I think this happens to most people. Even for me, when it's very funny because it reminds me on I think last year. So for the past 2 years, I've been doing in Meta, and then like people think that it was amazing and all that. And my friend was just like a friend like who literally lived next door, and we had this conversation, and then he was chatting to me like you look like you're all good and all that, like yeah, like looks like you have an amazing life. But then when I hear that, I was like, yeah, like I think it's just because most people it just looks perfect on the outside, and like we don't know what's happening on the inside as well. Like it's easy to like social media and all that. Social media, I that's the one part I dislike about social media is that it really shows the best side of everyone, and then
Hmm.
people don't see like the true daily, which are not as glamorous as it seems. Yeah, so yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so when you ask me about like at advice and all that, because like yeah, if I go back to that time when I was chatting with my friend and all that, and then he perceived that yeah, I'm doing well, confident, having a good time. Throughout my two year in Meta, I'm not sure if you have heard my first episode where I talk about that, like my
Oh,
time in
briefly. Yeah,
Meta.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it was generally not an amazing experience. Yeah, definitely I wouldn't fully blame the company. Yeah, it's just sometimes not the right place at the right time. Yeah, they did their best. I tried my best as well. It just didn't work out and all that. But yeah, like even I'm not sure if you talk about the self-confidence bit, I'm actually I'm not that confident as well. I would say I'm absolutely an introvert, and I really enjoy personal time. I really need to recharge after having a social session and all this. I think growing up and then realizing what you want to do definitely helped me to the bad word the what not the bad word the worst way of saying it is that force yourself to do it, but the better way is to, grow to do that.
Hmm.
Yeah, so like most recently, messaging people on LinkedIn and all that, it's very scary initially. I procrastinated for so long just to send
Yeah.
out that message, but after doing it a few times, then you realize, yeah, it's
That's not
okay.
so bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
Nothing
exactly.
happened.
Like, yeah, worst come to worst, people would just not reply you. Um, and if they reply you, it's usually amazing and all that. Yeah, no one will hate on you and all that. Yeah, but I really love what your mentor told you about that. Yeah, you're young but not inexperienced. I think, yeah, I wouldn't say that I can give any advice, but definitely I can share what I've learned and all that. Things just I think having people and then actually
Hmm.
sharing like what we are actually going through to with others and all that. Like I would start telling people when I most recently I it definitely feels a bit sad because I had this VC internship interview where I entered the last stage. Yeah, entered the last stage, and then usually the last stage is just more like a vibe check, and then it's easier to get in if you get to the last stage. But unfortunately, I wasn't selected, and definitely it is a bit sad. But I decided to tell others and all that, and yeah, telling others, letting people to share your trauma. Yeah, I
Hmm.
mainly like I think sharing with others really, really helps. Yeah.
Hmm.
And like both wins and all these troubles really, really does help. Like even when we are going through things, we don't know how to solve it. I think, yeah, having a community, sharing with people, I think that's something that I really learned recently. Like if you
Hmm.
ask me like 2 years ago, me, I am very even last year, I'm very into just myself. I like if I can do it myself, I do it myself. Yeah, because that's how my family. I think the how I was taught when I was growing up. But recently, I learned that it is
Yeah,
fine
reach out.
to
Right.
tell other, reach out, yeah, and all that because at the same time you would want to be the person that they reach out to, and yeah, you hope to be there for them. So it's totally fine. Yeah, it's
Oh, that's
totally
so
fine.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually so true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think the funny thing is like, yeah, we're so scared of like reaching out and asking people out for coffee and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's what we would want to. Like we would want people to reach out to us and like ask
Exactly,
us out for coffee
exactly.
and like have a
Yes.
conversation. I think especially in adulthood, like maintaining friendships is like you have to be really intentional with it and you always feel like everyone around you is so busy. But everyone is also like feeling like
Thinking the same
everyone
thing.
around them is really busy and everyone secretly wants to meet each other and like hang out. But it's
Yes.
like yeah, everyone feels like everyone's not doesn't have time to do that. So
Mm.
like yeah, I learned that one recently as well. Like I've been meeting up with my friends a bit more, and yeah, everyone is just like so excited when we all like meet up
Hmm?
and make time for each other and like it's cool. Like yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, yeah. Like I totally agree with you. Yeah, yeah. So like that's why like here as well. But a new try. I definitely need to be a lot more intentional when I go down to London. Definitely need to build a new support network and all that. But I think
Hmm.
yeah,
Where are you now, by the way?
I am in Nottingham. I believe you know
Oh,
that.
so
If
you're
I'm
in
not sure if you're
Nottingham
a sports
for
person, that where you
yeah,
join the
yeah, yeah,
Nottingham Malaysian Games.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I went, I think 2 years. Like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But I didn't do any sports. I was doing photography.
Oh, I
Um,
see. Amazing.
yeah. But okay, so you've been in Nottingham this whole time, and then now you're moving to London.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ah,
Yes,
okay,
like a huge change for
okay,
me.
yeah,
But
that's a very different city. Yeah.
I'm quite excited for that because it's been my dream to just
Hmm.
yeah try out London life. I grew up in KL. I'm used to the convenience of a city, and so yeah, like definitely hope that it will be better. Yeah, it will be better.
Cool.
Let's see how it is. Yeah. Okay, we talk about a struggle. Amazing. Thanks for sharing that. And then I believe, yeah, now you know that you're not the only one suffering it. I'm suffering. I suffered that as well. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But what is the one thing that you love about yourself? Totally opposite
Hmm.
spectrum right now.
I think I love that. Like, I enjoy, I don't know, I enjoy learning, I guess. Like in a way that like, I really enjoy just learning new things about new people. Like it fuels me or new things about just life in general, like and just like really looking at the world in a different perspective every day. Through yeah, just like the journey of learning. I think there are days when, I'm walking around the streets and then I just look up and I'm like, holy shit, we have a giant rock floating above our heads right now, like orbiting 28 like once every 28 days. Like how, it's just and then when you go into it and it's like, yeah, there's all this like these forces that are happening that and the world is just so strange and there's always
Mhm.
just so much new stuff to learn. Recently there's been so I have this friend Huisin who she
Mhm.
posts on LinkedIn and she studies like neuroscience related stuff.
Mhm.
And she posts like very technical posts about the stuff that she's doing a PhD in something related to neuroscience. And until today, I don't really quite know, but like, yeah, um, very new, like very niche technical things,
Mhm.
and it just feels really interesting to me. So like, uh, I don't understand it fully, but it's like, wow, there's this new knowledge in the world which is super obscure and I'll probably never need in my lifetime, but it's so fun to learn. Yeah.
Int- Indeed, indeed.
The other day I
I
was having this conversation with my friend as well about
Mhm,
how why are there 360 degrees in the degree system?
mhm,
And like as we dug deeper, we found out that oh, apparently, in the ancient like what was it in the second century AD, they figured
mhm.
out that 360 was the easiest number that you could divide into whole numbers and still have a whole number at a reasonable angle. So you have 30, 60, 90, 45. Like you can divide by 3, by 2, by 4, by yeah. And it's just the smallest whole number, and then it also
Mhm.
tallies up with the number of days in a year that they thought existed at the time. Obscure, interesting knowledge. Which every time you look at a circle and like you look at people measuring in degrees, you just can't help but be like amazed by like, holy shit, we've come a long way as civilization. And like, yeah.
I see, I see. Amazing. I really love that. Yeah, that is good. But what is the main thing that drives all this like curiosity to learn? I feel like
I think it's a,
originally the
I don't
answer
know.
should be curiosity, and then I put that into a question, so now you can't say that anymore.
Yeah, no, maybe just generally embracing a sense of wonder and like
Hmm.
being open to like thinking and like asking the dumb questions that nobody wants to ask, but are
Hmm.
just kind of strange and interesting. Yeah, and like looking at life in a lens of wonder, I guess. Yeah.
Amazing. I love that. I love that. Okay. What's your life biggest fear? Biggest fear in life, actually.
Mm, hmm.
Said it the wrong way.
Perhaps death. I don't know. Do I fear death? I'm not sure. I haven't had enough time to think about it, to be honest.
Hmm.
Um, I've had I've had a couple encounters with like family members and stuff like that as
Okay.
well, like grandparents and stuff like that.
Mm.
Um, and I don't know, it's I guess it is kind of scary that okay, at one point we're not going to be around anymore. You don't feel it in your 20s as much, I feel. Um like you feel like you're gonna live forever and yeah. Um yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I suppose I don't think about it that often, but I
Okay.
feel like, and I know a lot of people use it as a journaling prompt as well. Like, okay,
Oh
if you were
yeah.
to pass on tomorrow, what would you want to achieve, kind of thing, or like, how would you live your life if it's going to be 300, if it's the last, 365 days of your life. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think that can be a bit scary.
I see. I see. Interesting. Okay. That's cool. That's cool. I mean, like, yeah. Yeah, but for me, interesting. Cause like recently I just yeah, I faced my mom's death and all that.
Mm.
So it really someone that's really close. It gave me a different perspective as well. I think like all this life experience. Scared whether am I afraid or not? Then not so, but it made me really fear unfulfilled potential, knowing that I could do so much and then
Mm.
like knowing that if like the day where I died, I did not achieve the best I could. So that's where I think like all like probably that as well. It cascaded into many things that I do like within the last 3 months. I tried out so many things. I decided to start this podcast. Like literally this even this thought of going down London, like it has always been in my head, and then it was just never executed until one coffee chat with a friend. She's just like, why not? And then I was like thinking, yeah, why not? Like all the reasons are telling me to get out of Nottingham. The probably only reasons
Right.
tell me not to go to London is just that it's expensive, but that is not a so huge problem that I can't solve itself. Like I still have the skills to be able to, work in a coffee shop or something and maintain a simple lifestyle. So it's like, yeah, I should
Hmm.
really go for it. So that's where I realized, yeah, definitely death is sad. It's bad, for other like for people around you and all this, and but I think what's worse if you did not live a life that you're
Mm.
happy with, that you really really truly enjoy. So that's something that's yeah, something I realized, and it became not really a fear, but like it's a new drive for me. Like, I don't wanna die knowing that I didn't fulfill my potential. So yeah, I'll try to do my best every day. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, maybe the thing we like, yeah, the thing that we fear may not be the death itself. Because once it happens, it's like you wouldn't need to fear it, like kind of thing
Honestly,
after.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Honestly, well, I'm not sure about like what actually happens after death, but after this, like my mom's death, I realized that, like during like someone's death, let's say for my mother's death, I believe like it's easiest for my mom because, well, scientifically she's dead and then she has no conscience, everything. So basically, yeah, rest in peace. But it's actually harder for people around her. So I realized that that's where you need more support to help out with, the family itself, the people, the friends and all that they are close with. So yeah, actually, I feel like death is not so scary. It's probably scarier for people around that person. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's like a new realization for me, like really, yeah, interesting.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, let's get out of this fear question thing. Like, yeah, I think a bit too much of bad vibes here. Yeah, let's get back to our questions and just wondering, do you think you are successful?
I haven't really looked at my definition of success in a while. So it's
Mm.
actually it's a question that I think I haven't given enough thought to in general.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I think in some ways I've accomplished things that I could never have imagined myself accomplishing. Like for example, even getting to this point in like even starting a startup, for example, like an actual like and figuring out product and tech and like trying to get everything working together.
That is
I guess there
absolutely
are things
amazing.
that yeah, I like yeah. I suppose there are lots of little successes, which I'm definitely proud of myself for going through. Honestly, even I would say some of the bigger successes are like reaching out to people that I was so scared of reaching out to. Like little things like that, sending a LinkedIn connection request. It's like it's some
That
of them
needs
were
a
really big wins.
surprisingly amount of courage, like when we do it for the first time.
Um, Honestly, even until today, I've sent out so many, and I still feel the especially with someone who's like who I
Really
really
look at
look
the
up
big
to
title
and
and
have
all
been
that, right?
following. Yeah, like oh my gosh. But yeah, I think in a broader sense, I think there's a lot more that I want to achieve in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I probably wouldn't like maybe the question of like how I define success. Personally, to me, it's more about yeah, like the people who I've been able to impact across the course of my life, I guess. And so far, I guess there's been a couple that like I'm quite happy with. Yeah, people who I've worked with, or like who were employees at the agency, or yeah, I think sharing knowledge, um, changing like I guess yeah, impacting people in small ways, I guess. Um, I think that would be the bigger thing for me. Yeah. In terms of like startup revenue scale, etc., I think yeah, we've got a journey ahead. Um, but yeah, I think the definition of success. I don't know. How would you define success for yourself?
Ah, good question. Oh, I love this. Yeah, I love when the guests ask questions as well. Yeah. Um, I think right now, yeah, I would say that personally, I would think that I'm successful. I'm really successful because like I have this I have this ability to just like even most recently, I'm very proud. This podcast itself is real. I'm really proud about it. Definitely the metric when you talk about like revenues, like for me it's like podcast metric and all this. How many people are listening? How many followers and all that. Those are
Hmm.
definitely still a journey ahead. But the ability that literally had this podcast idea on a Friday, and I thought about it. That day I was just thinking about it, and at the end of the day, I just went and purchased a domain and subscribed it for 3 years. So I have no way to back out. And the next day, I started talking to my friend, asking them about like basically doing interviews and all that. And then on Monday, I sent out the whole survey. Was it the time? No, I think I think I contacted you after that period. Yeah, but I sent out surveys to collect feedback from people. Like I started this whole podcast within 2 weeks. Like the first episode is out within 2 weeks, which I am really, really proud about myself. Like I push myself to another level, knowing that yeah, I can start a podcast from nothing to from idea to like actual thing within 2 weeks. That is amazing. And then
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I can just move down to London because I said yeah, I want to move down to London. Many people will ask me like, oh, you got a job in London? I was like, no, actually, no, not at all. I'm going down to hopefully find a job. I'm going down to network people and all that. Like, yeah, in the usual term, like, what's my salary now? Totally zero. Um, but I'm happy that I'm so well prepared, like in the skill set that I'm able to just start things when I want to, or like I
Yeah.
have such like all this financially emergency fund saved up that yeah, I can just do a not so spontaneous, but like I can just do a big decision right now and execute it as I want. So in that aspect, I'm really happy. And definitely friendships and all that, that is actually a really big thing for me.
Mm.
Previously, when I first came here, I think the first 1.5 year in the UK, I thought it was just fine because I've been a really lonely person. I'm not sure if there's a better way to say it. I've been like really to myself, like I don't seek out for help and all that. And then I thought it's totally fine to be a person like that. And until like 1.5 year in, I realized no, we need a lot of people, we need friends, we need support and all that. And recently I have started to learn how to make friends, how to maintain friendships and all this. And yeah, that has been a huge success to me, like having this amazing bunch of friends. Knowing you today as well, like yeah, it's just so I do think that I'm successful. Yeah. Mm.
Actually, yeah. I think when it comes to like friendships, I mean the things that ultimately matter in life, I feel like it's the simple things. Like, yeah,
Yes.
the
It's
friendships
always the
that you've
small,
maintained.
tiny things.
Yeah.
Mm.
The little projects that, or even the big projects that, you felt like starting and then you actually did it. Like you actually figured out, you made it
Mhm.
happen.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, that's a good way of looking at the things
Mm.
that build up success.
Small wins, so
Hmm.
called. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I really love the idea when you talk about the Discord channel, and then I think I should propose it to my friends and all that. Have like a small wins channel where we share about it and then celebrate it together with others. Yeah.
I have this. I mean, there are some people on like my Instagram feed who were
Mm.
who would like host like they have these events with their friends where everyone just shares what they're doing or some little wins that they've had on PowerPoints. Like they do it in their living rooms. I don't know if you've seen those videos. Like
Yeah, 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 yeah. I saw
it's so cute.
those. Not I think not the wins one. I saw those where after meeting your friends for a long time, time to for a first like life update.
Update.
Yeah, yeah. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, but
Yeah.
wins. I think it's a very good idea. It's actually a very good idea. Yeah. I should probably like because definitely I think in the UK I believe you have been through the drinking culture is huge here. Yeah. So
Mhm.
yeah, probably should have a drinking session where everyone just share their wins.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I should propose that. It's a very good idea. Yeah, yeah. When I
The
when I
last
head down to
person to
London.
share will have gone through a number of toasts. Like
Yes.
so that'll be a bit funny.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah. I originally, like, when going through this, I think just now in the last 30 minutes, I had an amazing question that I wanted to ask, but I really forgot. Yeah, so now I'll pass it to you. Wondering, do you have any questions for me that you're interested to know about?
Yeah. I guess what's on your mind most of the time right now?
Huh.
Like on a daily basis?
Very good question. Very good question. Huh. Yeah, I never really sat down and because like every day you're just so busy doing one thing over the other. So yeah. Um for now, I think I think it's my actual next steps. Yeah, like this constantly like it's buzzing around my mind because like um definitely my plan is to go into VC. That is like my current hopes and dreams. But I'm someone I think I overthink a bit too much. Yeah, and I would plan ahead a bit too much. Yeah. So I've been thinking of multiple plans after that, and I thought of starting an agency as well because like literally I just like but that is like just a very fresh thought that came out recently. But basically there are a few things like whether should I just fully go into, definitely I'm giving my 6 months into VC, but full 1 year I'm still thinking about that. I'm thinking whether to go into entrepreneurship in residence program like you did
Oh,
because
right.
I the reason why I did not, funny thing, I yeah, just a short story. So when I, because in UK there's this company called Entrepreneur First. I'm not sure you have heard of
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
when I am starting into searching jobs in VC and all that, definitely I don't mind startups and incubator because my main reason is that I realize my passion is not in technical computer science. I'm interested in technology, but I'm not someone that can just sit behind and program and all that. Yeah. So I realize I'm still very much into entrepreneurship and I don't have a very good idea. Like I will consider the podcast idea to be a really good idea that I think like, oh, it's such a good opportunity, I should do it, and I validated and it really worked. But I don't have such a good idea yet. Like I don't have something that I'm really passionate about that I want to work on, and definitely not something with a very good product market fit. So I don't want to start a company now. But I still want to be around this startup incubator ecosystem. So that time I I was gonna start looking into entrepreneur first and see if they have any career that they want to that I can join. And when I click into a website and then I just saw a huge graduate program and then I went and applied for it, not knowing that that's actually for the the entrepreneurship in residence program instead of their career
Oh,
page. Yeah, then I only realized, oh, there's another career page. So then I actually applied for actual job. But the funny thing is that part of their talent, that their talent team came and find me to ask me about, like, because I applied for the entrepreneurship in residence program. Still,
right.
I took the call, but because what I'm more interested in is the job of the person that's interviewing me. So after after she finished the question, I went and asked her like a whole lot of questions about her role itself, just to know about her role. Yeah, just to know whether it's something that I want to do. So yeah, it was a really funny experience. But yeah, yeah, back to your question.
Ah,
Yeah, primary VC. Maybe I'll join a entrepreneurship in residence program just to maybe make some connections. Who knows? Maybe start a startup, or even I've been, because like the $1 million weekend book does inspire me a lot. So I had the idea of starting an agency or branching out some profitable segments from this podcast as well. Yeah, so that's like basically
mm,
the what's on my mind recently. I think it's more about like survival. Yeah, survival. Because like I recently, the book as well, $1 Million Weekend. It taught it taught us to have a freedom number. So like it's a kind of like a side hustle amount that you want to earn each month for now. And then for me is £2,000. The reason being £2,000 will allow me to rent a fairly comfortable 1 bedroom apartment in London City. So I can have my own personal space. I can have a proper podcast space where I can invite people up and all that. So that is what I want to do. And yeah, I'm figuring out ways to reach that 2000 freedom number for now. Yeah.
cool. Cool. Yeah. I mean, funny you mentioned about the finding the right idea. which you feel is like, oh yeah,
Okay.
okay, this is the one that I'm passionate about and stuff. I can share a bit about my experience with that.
Amazing.
Um, when I went into Antler, right, I I went in without really much of an idea. Like yeah, so I did have some ideas in the like creator economy, AI tech space.
Mm-hmm.
Tech is so broad, but like yeah, specifically in the creator economy space, so like
Mm-hmm.
podcasting tools or like content management tools, that kind of stuff. Um, but yeah, it was, I guess it was during the program that uh, we were forced to, I guess, come up with something in a few weeks. So we had to like actually actively think about, okay, what are we gonna do? And I realized that for the previous 2 years, when I was building the agency and I was looking for a startup idea to kind of work on, um, when you're not in the zone of problem solving, it's actually way harder to find the idea. But once I joined the program and like, I had to figure out some kind of idea by weeks 5 of the program. So like every day was like looking around, and it changes your worldview. Like everything is suddenly, oh, there's a problem there. Maybe I could, like, maybe there's something there. Like, let's look into this. Or when you're reading the news and like there's this company that exists in the U.S., but nothing like that exists here. It's like, oh, maybe there's an opportunity there. And then it's like suddenly there's like a lot more um possible ideas that could become big. And then you run into the problem of like, okay, there's too many. And then you got to like figure out which one does align with what you want to do. So like, I realized that the process of finding startup ideas and eliminating them and like validating them was a lot of like, you have to be in that state uh, to be open enough to kind of like receive these things and these signals whenever they come. Um, yeah, and I guess over the course of the program, I also kind of like realized that there were lots of ideas that when I looked into it deeper, there were actually pretty significant opportunities, but they were not things that I was particularly inclined to work on. And someone else is most likely going to take that on. And then a couple of months later, I see that, oh, there is a company that's actually growing in this space that I didn't want to pursue because it wasn't really aligned with the things that I wanted to do. Um, so yeah, I guess that was like a big learning for me about like startup ideas. And I don't know, maybe it helps, but like at least that was my personal experience as to like yeah, finding things that work. Yeah.
That is amazing because like yeah like because I so interesting thing for the entrepreneurship first career. In the end, for the career, actually, I got through to the second stage of the interview, but I never made it to a final interview. And then like throughout the interview and all that, because like they still ask me about what like any ideas that you thought of, any things that you think would be a some great idea that you would start and all that. It still forced me to think all that. And yeah, like genuinely I've been interested to know more about like whether does it help when you join on this program that it actually makes you think of a better solution that you can actually work on. So I'm really glad. I'm really glad that you shared that with me because I was generally I had this when I had this idea of going into just a network and all that. I feel a bit bad. Definitely, I'm wasting a spot and all that. But now that you say this, okay, I think definitely if I do have that opportunity later where I didn't get the VC and I joined that, I think yeah, maybe something good will come out. Yeah, maybe we'll then at that time we'll meet somewhere like in entrepreneurship events and all that, like yeah,
Yeah,
demo
maybe.
days and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think one habit that I also kind of picked up
Mhm.
is not dismissing your ideas too soon.
Okay.
So like I have a Notion doc which I call startup ideas, I think. And I just like I've got hundreds there now. And
I see.
like they're just like whenever something comes, just write it down, no matter how crazy it sounds
My God,
initially.
I should do it.
Um, and
Yeah.
yeah, you never know when one of those or two of those ideas might combine because a new technology suddenly exists which allows these things to be done again. And
Hmm.
yeah, like um it was actually a piece of advice from my engineering lecturer, like way back.
Hmm.
But keep a book of ideas, where, like they can be the craziest little things that you just work on, but like
Mm-hmm.
it keeps your brain kind of looking for opportunity. And even after you've started your startup, like even
Mm-hmm.
for Cleave right now, um, like 7 months into the journey, we're still like always trying to keep like, we have our main focus on the core product that we're working on, but
Mm-hmm.
then paying attention to, okay, what are the problems that we're encountering as we're building this product? Because a lot of successful companies don't actually, they actually pivot along the way. And sometimes they pivot two or three or four times. There's this really good Lenny Rachitsky chart on how many times the company pivoted before they got to the final idea. And like companies like Amplitude for product analytics, they were some completely different thing, and then they realized product analytics was really hard to build, and then they built a product analytics solution instead and pivoted into that. So like, I feel like the journey of coming up with and like, having startup ideas, it never really. It's not like this is the biggest thing that I had to unlearn, which was like, it's not like you come up with an idea and then you just pursue that. It's like you have a direction and then you try a bunch of ideas to solve a problem or like a set of problems, and then you try to keep an open view towards what are the problems that you're encountering, and then like, yeah, if it makes sense to solve something in that space too. So yeah, I think that was probably one of my bigger lessons in
Okay.
this.
Yeah. Now I have
Yeah.
another question. This is more of a personal one. Hopefully the audience will be interested in this as well. But so definitely like when sometimes when you have idea, I believe I think you encounter this because um let's say I have a very good idea in tech and all that, and then I probably validated it, yeah, and then I want to build it. How do you find your first co-founder or like engineers and all that to help you work on it?
So we, in our case, like we were posting on LinkedIn quite a lot. So that's how we met our CTO. So yeah, like basically just sharing the journey, sharing what we're working on, what kind of spaces we're working on.
Mhm.
Because ultimately, you need to find a tech co-founder who's very aligned with the way you think and the problems that you want to solve. We talked to a bunch, and like there was one person who, well, Rashad, who's joined us, like months ago, who was also really aligned in the whole like, I want to build something in the creator economy space. I want to build something for creators, for people to build their brands. He was actually writing on Medium and posting on TikTok, and like very different tech person. Yeah.
Yeah, really very different tech
So
person, yeah.
yeah. So we were really fortunate, but I think it's fortune. Fortune is one thing, but it was also increasing the probability of that fortune to happen by sharing what you're working on, that
Mm.
like it wouldn't have resonated with Rashad had he not seen the posts of about what we were doing. So I think, yeah, putting yourself out there, creating content, sharing your journey, I think it can have strange impacts to your life in ways that like unrealistically small probabilities suddenly happen. Yeah,
Yes.
like
Mm.
meeting a tech guy who's also uh like,
Creator.
a bit, yeah, a creator who's also able to work full time on your startup idea at the same time, shares a lot of values. You guys can work well together. It's a really, really small probability. So
Mm.
yeah, I think put yourself out there and like make a podcast, like do things. I think is really the way to kind of increase those probabilities a lot in weird ways. And the universe will kind of just work in weird ways to connect the right people together. Yeah.
Lovely, lovely. Okay, that's amazing. Yeah, but yes, Ashwin, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your time. It's been an amazing, amazing conversation. I really learn more about you. Like definitely very, very surprising. A lot of surprising facts from you as well. But yes, I just wondering what would be the best way for the audience to reach you if they find you interesting and all that. They would like to contact you.
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram at instagram.com/Ashwin Praveen, and then LinkedIn Ashwin Praveen as well. So yeah, I guess that's about it.
Amazing. Okay, I'll drop that down in the description below. So, yes, like this episode is proudly sponsored by Cleave as well, which is a product that Ashwin is building. Can you tell us more about Cleave?
Yeah, so it's basically a content assistant. So for anyone who's creating content, who wants to build their personal brand, who wants to share your ideas online, it's a tool that helps you basically note down your ideas. So it's like a note-taking tool. It builds up your second brain, so you're able to organize all your past notes, and then in a click, it uses generative AI to create hyper-personalized content based on your tone and past experiences, which represents you. So you can basically turn your quick notes and your learnings into posts that you can then share and all on all your socials.
Amazing, amazing. And yes, Ashwin has kindly gave us a promo code to all the audience that have been listening to this podcast as well. So if you just enter the promo code Journey10 into Cleve website and subscribe to it, you'll get a 10% off. So yes. All
Yeah.
right. So yes. Thanks everyone for listening to this episode, and really thank you, Ashvin, for being here and sponsoring this episode. So yes, if you do really enjoy this episode, please like, share, and please review. And if you really enjoyed it, give us a 5-star review and do comment down below if you've reviewed it. And I would personally comment your own social media handle down below. I'll personally go and contact you and have a conversation with you and thank you personally, because I really appreciate people that just review, or even send me your feedback. I'll learn to know how I can improve as well. So yes, thanks everyone for listening or watching, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye bye. Remember to subscribe to get notified as new episodes comes out weekly, and please share the link of this podcast to anyone you think would enjoy it. This is Andrew Kwan from the Journey at Zero Zeros podcast.